My high maintenance beauty girls, you know who you are. You get it. Hey guys, welcome to my current favorites on my face. When I thought about the first video I wanted to make coming back, I thought of so many different things, but I had to make this one for you because this is kind of my everyday natural glam look if I'm going for like a more glam look. I've missed you all so much. Thank you to everyone who has supported me, loved me, sent me messages while I was gone off YouTube. I hope you enjoy this video, and let's get into this. Alright guys, so to get started, I am using my Desert Essence Tea Tree Oil Pads. These things are amazing. Next up, I'm going in with my Lettuce and Cucumber Toner. This is from Skinfood. This brand is amazing, you guys. If you haven't checked out Skinfood, you should definitely jump on the web and check it out. For eye cream, I'm also going in with Skinfood. This is the Royal Honey Essential Eye Cream. My last step of skincare will also kind of be my primer as well. I have been more dry, so this is actually the Belif the True Cream Moisturizing Balm. This is actually for like more dry skin. I've just found my makeup goes so much smoother on top of this product, and it just makes my makeup look better throughout the day. I do still get oily on my nose, but I'd rather be oily on my nose than like dry on the rest of my face. For foundation, I am taking a blend of the Milani Conceal and Perfect 2-in-1 and the Erborian BB Cream in the shade Clair. I've been using both of these for quite a while now. This BB cream I've probably been using, I think this is my third one now. I just love it because it's really lightweight. It doesn't have amazing coverage, but it has good coverage for a BB cream. I mainly like to mix it in with a more full coverage foundation like the Milani one because it just really helps it not look cakey. I can kind of make it sink into my skin a lot better even if the product I mix it with has more coverage. So big fan of this stuff. It only comes in 2 shades. I know it's terrible. I do have the darker shade. I would say it's more of like for medium skin tones, the darker shade. So I just kind of spread this around my face with my fingers, and then I'll pat it in the rest of the way with the Beauty Blender. By the way, I am using the L'Oreal makeup sponge. I actually really like this. I kind of bought it on a whim at Walmart for like $6. I've been using the Flower Beauty sponge and the Beauty Blender. I feel like I always have the Beauty Blender in my drawer, but I will say this is the first sponge I've tried that I like better than the Beauty Blender. Even once the foundation appears to be blended, I still pounce over it just to make sure it looks good with the skin. So for concealer, I actually mix these two, but this is Shape Tape, of course, and Bare Minerals. This is the Bare Skin Complete Coverage Serum Concealer. I find the coverage of this one's amazing. It doesn't crease. This one just gives it such a more skin-like finish. A lot of people complain about Shape Tape being dry, and the Bare Minerals just really balances it out in that sense. And Shape Tape's too light, Bare Minerals is too dark. I put a little bit of the Shape Tape under my eyes. I'll put a little bit, I have quite a bit of scarring on my cheeks, so I'll put a little bit there. Always put it around the nose, on the eyelids, to prep for eyeshadow. And then I'll just take the serum concealer and put kind of the same amount right on top or right next to the Shape Tape. I put it everywhere except my eyelids because my eyelids they're not super crease prone, but they're not crease prone. If I use any other concealer other than Shape Tape, my eyeshadow will crease. I make sure once the concealer appears to be blended in, I just make sure I go around the edges of where the concealer kind of goes into the foundation. And then lastly, I will pat in the Shape Tape on my eyes. Okay, so for powder, I am mixing I feel like I mix everything, you guys. It's terrible. Foundations, concealer, powders. Loose powders. I'm such a weirdo. Anyway, my high maintenance beauty girls, you know who you are. You get it. So this is the Maybelline Fit Me loose finishing powder. I'm obsessed. I just recently tried this. I don't know what took me so long. I need more, like a darker shade too, because this is the JCat Beauty Luxe Pro Powder in the Pearl Luminizer shade. I'm just going to take the other side of my sponge, dip it into my powder. I'll kind of tap off the excess. and make the concealer face while I just pat it in. I don't bake or anything, I just kind of blend in that little bit of powder under my eyes. My nose is the one place I kind of go a little crazy with the powder, just because I know I'll get oily on my nose throughout the day. So I kind of stamp it on and just press all that in. Next place I go with my powder is my smile lines, because that is the other place that creases on me. Before I set my cheeks, I am going to go in with a bit of a foundation powder. This is just a Wet n Wild, one of their holiday brush sets. I don't know if it was holiday or not. I got it around the holidays. And they're fantastic, you guys. There's like a couple I don't use, but it's probably the most used brush set I've ever used as far as like number of them that I actually love. So now that those cheeks are set, I'm just going to take a fluffier powder brush. This is from the Up and Up brand at Target. I'm just going to kind of dust it lightly over everywhere else, making sure especially I set the areas I'm going to contour. For bronzer, I am using the L'Oreal Lumi bronzer. This stuff is amazing. I found this from Allie Glein's channel. It was like $11.99. It's kind of pricey for a drugstore bronzer, but I mean look, you get so much product and it has the most beautiful subtle sheen to it. And it's a great tone if you have like my skin tone, or I would say into like the light to medium range. And they do have, I think, 3 shades in all. This is the lightest shade. But yeah, big fan of this bronzer. I'm extremely picky when it comes to bronzers. I've tried out bronzers that have like 4.5, 5-star reviews, and I don't like it. Just because they're not creamy enough, they don't show up enough, they don't blend well enough for me. Once a lot of the product's off the brush, I just kind of take it all around. And I will take just some generally on the sides of my nose. I don't do like a detailed contour. I just kind of slap some color on there, and then down the neck. Per usual. Just got this new Makeup Revolution highlighting palette in collaboration with Soph X. And the first thing I like to do, now the reason why I like this palette, this shade, and this shade are more natural shimmers. So they don't look super reflective on the cheeks. They're almost like a very subtle kind of candlelit highlight. Very smooth, not like chunky at all. So I first take that one and just kind of put it right on the apples of my cheeks, because I don't take my highlighter all the way down to this area. I do have a little bit more pores, but this doesn't seem to emphasize my pore size at all. And then I'll also use this to kind of take it down my nose, because I don't really like an intense highlight down the center of my nose all the time. And then for my Ba-Bam highlight, I'm going to take a shade from my custom Makeup Forever palette. I don't know if you can get these magnetic palettes anymore. They were like $14 back in the day, and they were always sold out. I will take, this one right here is the new Makeup Forever highlight. I'll put the shade on the screen because I'm not sure what it is off the top of my head. It's a little too golden for me, so I'm going to mix it with a little bit of this guy right here, which is Summer from the Anastasia Glow Kit. I think the Glow Kit is Sun Dipped that it's from. So I'm just going to mix these two and just pop them on the cheekbone. With no new product, I just kind of blend it very gently into the highlight I have going on my cheek, apples of my cheek area. I also take it under the brow bone just a bit. Okay, so everything except blush is done, so I'm going to set my face now with a spray. This is the Ofra Makeup Fixer. This is a step I can never skip, because it just makes the powder look like they're not even there. This will look like my own skin as soon as this kind of dries down and settles. Big fan of that one. While the setting spray is drying down, I'll go in and do brows. So I just kind of brush them through because there is some kind of extra moisture. The first thing I do is take this NYX Eyebrow Shaper. I'm pretty sure I used this back when I used to film. So this is like a 3-year love affair going on. The next thing I'll do is go in with this Gimme Brow by Benefit. This is in the shade 1. Just like a taupe shade. And I'll just kind of brush this through. Just define the shape a tiny bit. And after that Gimme Brow has kind of set, I will go in with my pencil. So I just go in and kind of, I define the arch, and then I just extend the bottom of it down just a bit. I try to go in very lightly in this front bit and keep most of the pigment for the arch. Now we are going on to eyeshadow. So, this Makeup Forever palette I showed you earlier. I'm going to go in with these eyeshadows down here. These are the new Makeup Forever eyeshadows. They are incredible. I will put the shades I'm using up on the screen as I apply them because they're like number letter combo type deal. So I've been addicted to the E40 by Sigma for a long time. I found the first crease brush that has ever even lived close to the hype of the Sigma E40. Every other crease brush I try, I mean, I'll put my crease color in and I'll look at myself and I'm like, ugh. So then I have to go back in with my Sigma E40 and actually blend it out. But this is the first brush I've ever used that I'll use this brush and I don't reach for my Sigma E40 to correct things. So for my next step, I'll be taking more of a smaller brush. This is really similar to like a MAC 217. And I'm taking the two darker brown colors that I will put the shades up of. Taking the two darker colors and kind of just tapping them on the outer bit of the eye, blending that kind of onto the lid. I'm just going to take a little bit of purple and kind of fluff it through the crease. I'm taking this Wet n Wild. This is part of that brush set. It's like their blending brush. I'm just going to pick up a light amount of this purple shade and just kind of fluff it over everything. This will just add, this is a really good way to wear color without looking like you have purple, like a bright purple all over your eyeballs. For under the eye, I'm taking a little detail brush. This is just from a random brush set from Sephora years back. And I'm taking the two deeper brown tones, just kind of sweeping that under the eye. For my lid color, I am taking the new Stila. This is the Shimmer and Glow in the color Cloud. You guys, this is so beautiful. The way I put it on is I'll just take it from this little applicator on my finger and I'll just kind of tap it on the eye. So easy to blend on top of your other shadows. You don't have to worry about mixing like a liquid on top of a powder and it getting all funky. And I'll just kind of take my finger, make sure the edges are kind of blended to those matte shades. And then once it's kind of blended, I'll take a little more and just put it right on that center just to kind of intensify. So once that color is on, I will just take a clean blending brush and just very lightly, with a very light pressure, I'll kind of go over the edges. I'm going in with the Kat Von D Tattoo Liner, another old fave. This one, the brush is kind of all wonky because it's an older one, but it still has product in it. So what I do in that case is I just use this to line my lid, and then I take a more, like a sharper pen, and I do the wing, if I do a wing. So for the wing, I'm going to use the same eyeliner, but it's like the mini kind. When I find these in store as point perks, I will take as many as they will give me because they're amazing at getting that like really sharp edge. I always set my liner with an eyeshadow, so I'm going in with a Sigma, what is this? The Small Angle E65. Taking a little of the purple and the brown that I used to define my crease, and I'm just kind of patting that over the liner. I'm going to curl my eyelashes off camera, because this ain't happening. Now that our lashes are curled, I'm going to go in with a lash primer. This is the Tarte Opening Act. This really helps my lashes look a lot more fluffy when the mascara goes on. So while I wait for that lash primer to dry, I'm going to go in and finish everything else. So for blush, I do like to wait till the eyes are done to do the blush, just so I can see kind of what's going on color-wise, what works the best. I think I'm going to go in with my usual, just because how can I not? This is Sin by NARS. If I looked at this online, I would have never thought it could ever suit my skin tone. But in person, oh my gosh, it's a deep mauve. It's deep, but it has this golden shimmer, and when you apply it in like a sheer way on pale skin, oh my goodness, it gives me life. NARS blushes are some of my favorite. My other favorite is the Dolce Vita. If I'm doing more of like a neutral look, not as purpley, I love to go with this one too. This one's like a great staple. And then on top of NARS Sin, I love to top it off with Milani Luminoso. This is just a lot more different, a lot more peach, kind of brings in a whole nother element, and it kind of makes it not look like my cheeks are bruised, because it is kind of a dark purple, nothing too much, but This just kind of balances out those cool undertones and brings a little bit of warmth back. Now we're going to go ahead and do lips. I'm going to keep it like on the cool nude side, so I'm going to put on the CoverGirl. This is the new Melting Pout Matte, and this is in the shade Current Nude. I'm really excited about this. I've heard good things. I do like to prime my lips with the Urban Decay Ozone Primer. It's the fat pencil version, not like their lip liner size one. It's like a jumbo pencil. Phenomenal. I will not put on a lip color without it. After I put on that primer, it is a little bit of like a waxy base, which is great because it makes things like really stick easily. But I will kind of blend that into my foundation in case it kind of disrupted that border line. I do overline my lips quite a bit with a liquid lipstick. And that's why I do prefer matte lips a lot more, because you can kind of cheat your lip line. Alright, so I just put on some mascara. I used the Benefit Roller Lash, and then on the very tips of my lashes to give it just a little more volume and length, I used the Makeup Forever Excessive Lash. I really like this mascara too. I also topped my lips off with the Sephora Luster Matte Longwear Lip Color. This is discontinued, I'm so sorry, but I put it basically over every liquid lipstick I wear because it doesn't dry it out. It keeps it really creamy. It's not entirely transfer proof, but it still is very, very long wearing, you know, 6 to 7 hours. And basically this Sephora Luster Matte is basically like a liquid lipstick that's somewhat matte. I would say it's a satin matte, but it doesn't dry down and set. So that's why it soaks into the liquid lipstick really nicely. So if you ever come across a similar formula to that, like a liquid lipstick that's really creamy, moisturizing, kind of matte, doesn't dry down, try it on top of a liquid lip because it is phenomenal on top of there. Thank you so much for clicking on this video and watching this. Thank you so much for supporting my channel. I am going to be getting back into this, so I cannot wait. I'm going to try to post once or twice a week. Moving forward, I can't promise anything, but this has been a long time coming, and I finally got my space where I wanted it, have my lights up. I'm really excited to continue on with tutorials and everything else and get back in contact with you guys. I missed my subscribers so much. Thank you to everyone who sent me their random messages while I was gone that was like, I miss you, come back. They've been so sweet, and you guys have just been a warm spot in my heart ever since I've had a YouTube channel. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you all so much, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.